After I graduated Spanish education, I decided to do a little bit of teaching at a local school, just like assistant. I learned what the executive director made, and I was like, wait, what? I can't do that. Like, that can't be the ceiling. And I'm not saying that's bad at all, but I had more ambition than that. When I first started, my broker told me you need to have a year worth of savings. I had 6 months. And when we got to 3 months and I hadn't had a closing, I was like, okay, what are we doing? In retrospect, I wish I would have bought a home while I had my employment history, because you have to have, usually, like a general rule of thumb is 2 years of work experience. So that's how inexperienced I was when I started real estate. I was like, let's quit my job and get into it. And I didn't even own a home.
In retrospect, do you wish that you bought earlier?
Yeah. So you need to be maniacal. When I talk about like my career, I'm like, maybe I just have a screw loose.
Ruthie, how's it going?
Good, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. It's going to be an exciting podcast, so I'm excited to get into it. Let's kick it off.
Alrighty. So, you are a real estate agent here in Humboldt County.
Broker.
Okay.
Oh, you are a broker?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm an associate broker. So
Nice.
I work under a broker still, but I am a broker.
Gotcha. How did you begin your journey in real estate, and how did that begin in Humboldt County?
Okay, here comes my life story. I came here for school, came here for college. I thought I wanted to be a teacher. That's ultimately at the end of my college. That changed 7 times before I even decided, okay, let's try and do this. So after I graduated, oh, sorry, I felt like you were going to say something.
No, you're okay. I'm just adjusting my mic.
After I graduated with Spanish education, I decided to do a little bit of teaching at a local school, just like assistant, while I considered like, okay, should I get my teaching credential? And ultimately I did not like it. And so I decided not to get my teaching credential. I instead found a social work job with North Coast Children's Services and loved it. At the time it felt like, oh, I can like actually make a little bit of money. I can pay my rent, my bills, do things I like to do. And I liked the job itself, right? Like helping people day in, day out in people's homes, building those relationships. So I really liked it. I think I did it for about 3 years before I realized, okay, where's this headed? And I looked at, the potential growth there. I learned what the executive director made, and I was like, wait, what? Like, I can't do that. Like, that can't be the ceiling. So I just expressed to a friend of mine, I like what I'm doing, but I don't think long term it's what I ultimately want to do. And I told her I wanted to be able to earn more. And she said, have you thought about real estate? And at the time, I probably hardly even understood what she did. She's a mortgage lender. And I was like, no, I haven't at all. So she mentioned it to me and I looked into it, and it's like the rest is history. Like it just felt so right from the moment I started doing it. I loved helping families. I loved getting to know families, and it felt like it translated exactly. Like now I help with a lot bigger issues, but I still hold your hand through a major life change and through something that is probably intimidating, stressful, a huge major life decision, and I get to guide them through that process. So it feels like the correlation from what I learned in social work translated perfectly to how I operate my business now.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, what folks study in college is not what they end up doing in the real world.
Yeah.
For me, I was studying to be an accountant and do taxes, and I did a couple tax seasons, and it was difficult for me. It just was not my cup of tea, and so I shifted gears to working here at the Small Business Development Center. Shout out. And it, I found out that the stuff that I studied for and went in the career path that I had chosen at such a young age wasn't actually what my future was. And so I think that it's interesting that you kind of have that parallel. So what made you ultimately shift gears with teaching to a different career path?
Well, okay, so I'll also start back a little bit because ending up thinking about teaching was so many leaps and bounds down the road anyways. When I got to college, I thought I wanted to do art. Like that's what I wanted to do. And then as I looked at things, I was like, I'm not sure if that's exactly going to work out. So then I started to look at Spanish and teaching Spanish. I looked at linguistics. I also started to think about applying for the nursing program. And then I decided to apply for that, and they cut the program, which they brought back years later. So there was very many ventures of like, okay, where am I going to go with this? And then as I think teaching could have worked for me, but I think I ultimately decided like I don't necessarily want to teach other people's kids. I think I probably want to nurture my own kids. So yeah, that's where it kind of evolved into that.
And you were saying that you saw how much the executive director was making, and you were like, "That's the ceiling. Why would I want to hit that ceiling?"
Yeah.
Are you able to say how much your salary was and what that top ceiling was that you could make?
I might have been making like yeah, somewhere around that.
And then what was the
It was
executive
like
director role?
86. And I was like, that's not
That's
bad.
pretty
Right?
good.
Yeah.
And where is this in Idaho? She's from Idaho, by the way.
Yeah, Boise.
This
Shout
is
out.
this is in Humboldt.
This is in Humboldt, yeah.
Oh,
86 for
that's
social work, but you're the executive director, so you got to work your way up.
Well, exactly. That's
Yeah.
one position. And I'm like, they could have that career for 20 years,
True.
you know, like that's if that's the top.
I agree.
And I'm not saying that's bad at all, but I had more ambition than that.
100%.
Yeah.
So when you got into real estate, I guess, what's the cap with real estate?
Oh, no. Yeah, there's
No,
nothing.
there's nothing,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's the beauty.
Is
yeah.
there nothing, even just working as an agent underneath, like, for example, she works at Corcoran Icon, shout out. Is there a ceiling of what you can make working as an agent?
No.
No, okay, because you're not, like, you're not W-2'd with them,
Exactly.
right?
1099 independent.
Hell yeah. Okay, so let's get into like the logistics of how being an agent and then working your way up to an associate broker and then hopefully someday a broker works. So explain like the hustle behind real estate.
Yeah, like what are the levels and
Yeah.
got us through your graduation through those different levels
Okay.
of real estate?
So you become a sales agent first. So anybody can go and study for that and take the test and get that license. Then to become a broker, you have to have either your college degree or 2 years of experience. So I just set the goal of like, you know, I was ambitious. I am ambitious. Was like, if that's the next step, that's what I'm doing. So like literally to the day, 2 years experience, I did it and got my broker's license. I had the goal of opening my own company, going off on my own. Things shifted as I had kids. My ambition, I think something hormonal happens to a mother. It like your focus just goes to your babies. Like so I found my ambition just like mellowed as I poured so much love into those kids. So now my kids are 3 and 5. But at the time it was like, how could I start a business? Like I need to grow this baby. I need to nurture this baby. So in becoming a broker, I had plans for that, and it was like it mellowed out with having kids. I'd say now that they're older, it's back, but probably in a more like mature sense. As I look at the bigger picture and how hard it is to do real estate, it's like, do I want to grow a team? Do I want to run an office? I've mentored many agents. I've even had agents under me, like have grown my team before, and it just I don't know if it's like for me. I'm like, as I have learned a lot from it, I'm like, maybe the best thing for me is just to work with the clients I know how to work with, do things I know how to do instead of trying to grow that. Not saying that wouldn't change over time, but it's been an ebb and a flow where I think about, should I go out on my own or are things pretty good here?
Yeah, I think that going out on your own, you would have to manage so many more items than just working with clients and selling houses. And that's the luxury that you have working with the agency is that you get to just be boots on the ground. You don't have to worry about managing these employees. Is this person slacking off? You know, if someone is slacking off, you just tell the whoever's running the Corcoran.
Corcoran. Yeah,
Corcoran. You just ask whoever's running Corcoran, hey, you know, this
Yeah.
person's slacking off. You don't have to deal with that.
exactly.
If you're the owner of a business, you're the one that has to deal with them.
Yeah.
have to lay down the bad news.
And more so too, even like liability. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's
Totally. If someone messes up and they're working under you, then like that can fall on you, and you're like, oh, I didn't even like, yeah, totally.
Has that happened, if you're able to say?
I've had a client who wanted, so we have errors and omissions insurance. I had a client who wanted to make a claim, like, you need to pay out on this. Through the details of that, it didn't come to fruition because of, it wasn't an error. It wasn't a mistake, So, but it definitely has come. Many times people threaten it, right? Like, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to take some action against you. And through always trying to remediate it, it seems to just the chips fall where they
And that happens. Do you get threatened to get sued a lot?
I'm happy to say only a handful of times. And even as I say a handful, like that client, maybe two more.
Okay.
And that's in 9 years. Like, I don't think that's not that bad.
I think that's totally typical, especially in this industry, because you're handling large amounts of money. People are very emotionally invested, and welcome to California. Everyone's suing everybody. So
Most litigious state.
yeah, and I always ask. So here at the Small Business Development Center, I advise a lot of small businesses, and they come in. They're like, okay, do I need liability insurance? And I'm like, is there potential of lawsuits? If you're serving food, if you're in realty, for sure. Highly recommend liability. The question is, what liability insurance are you going to get? Some people, they sell jewelry. And I'm like, if you're selling jewelry, it's not the most pertinent thing because, what are the chances of somebody? And so, but with this industry, I could see lawsuits being very common, very frequent, and any experienced agent has dealt with them. In fact, if I asked my real estate agent, have you ever, if they said they haven't dealt with lawsuit, I'm like, how long have you been doing this for? Because so and with my family's experience with buying and selling the home, I saw firsthand how complicated and things can get. Does these complicated situations, lawsuits, emotions, people that might not be all there, can a messy situation ever have a toll on you emotionally?
Yeah, there were a lot of tears in those first years. Like, I cared a lot and carried a lot of stress. And it's funny now, as I've become like more of a seasoned agent, I kind of laugh sometimes at how much I took on in those first years. Like, at the end of the day, it's a job. Like, and I can compartmentalize that, and I don't have to take all of that home. So I don't know if that comes with experience or maturity, but it used to weigh on me a lot more, and now I feel like I'm able to manage it a lot better.
So how much does a new agent actually clear in their first 24 months?
I mean, it depends, but I think the average is that anyone starting out closes from like 1 to 4 houses. So like
That's if they're like out there hustling, like this is their job.
Yeah.
Like,
when I first started, my broker told me you need to have a year worth of savings. I had 6 months. And when we got to 3 months and I hadn't had a closing, I was like, okay, what are we doing? Like, I'm stressed. I'm working every single day. And that's an anomaly. Like, I closed one at 3 months and then closed subsequently more than a few. I think I closed like 12 in my first year, which is, great. Like, that's not common. So most agents, and I actually think that 1 to 4 comes from what the average agent closes in a year. So you're hardly closing anything. You've got to have either a bunch of savings or another means to help.
so the reason why you should have an emergency fund, this is a good topic to get into, is because you can do great, crush on your first house and make like $50,000, right? And then it could be another like 2 years until you make, say, $20,000, right?
Yeah,
So it varies.
those numbers
like
are
that.
also really high that you're talking
Yes,
about. Like,
I know
yeah.
that's expensive. But
Yeah.
for example, then let me lower it a little bit.
Yeah,
You can
like
make
the average commission check might be $7,000.
oh,
Yeah.
like in the world or just here?
Just thinking of our average price and then what you take from that. Like, our median price is like 400,000. An agent takes home around 3% and then has a cut after that. Yeah.
Okay.
So as you're saying 50, like,
those are big houses.
yeah, I mean, those are multi-million-dollar properties. Yeah.
My bad.
If I was
Okay.
paying,
Just
I knew,
want to make it realistic, because I
True,
know
true.
the connotation is, wow, realtors are out here making such
if
easy
my
money. and
broker
it's
was
like,
making $50,000 on my house, I'd be like, okay, what's going on here? That's coming out of my pocket.
So you can make your first house 7,000, right, or 4,000.
yeah.
That sounds reasonable.
And then it could be another, say, 10 months
Yeah.
until you make just another like $3,000 or something, right? So what's the importance for all realtors that could be watching this to have an emergency fund for up to a year?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know where your next sale is coming from, and things fall apart all the time. Things maybe, I mean, in certain seasons fall apart more often than they come together. So yeah, you need to be able to pay your bills still or have a plan for that if your income is going to be that intermittent.
So how do
Yeah.
you end up building a 1 year emergency fund if you're not making any sales?
I mean, at that time, so that was when I jumped from social work to real estate. So I had bulked up some savings to be like, okay, I'm going to make this big career change. I know I might not make enough for the next year, so I need to have like a little nest egg to.
That's good.
Yeah.
Most people borrow money for that.
Yeah.
Do they?
Well, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's very admirable that you saved up that salary money to launch your business.
Are you interested in starting a small business? We've had the opportunity to interview dozens of local entrepreneurs behind the Redwood Curtain. You can reach out to your local small business development center to receive free one-on-one advising today. Back to the show.
I kind of want to switch topics and touch back on something we were talking about earlier, dabbling in real estate.
Yeah.
So we had Hannah Winans on. Shout out, Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah's great. I love Hannah.
And she said that you cannot succeed as a dabbler in real estate. So my question is, can you actually succeed as a dabbler in this market? Or is a part-time real estate agent or broker a recipe for bankruptcy?
Yeah, 100%. No, you can't dabble. Like, my question is always like, do you go see the dentist who dabbles? Do you go see a tax preparer who's like, oh, I do it on the side? Like, you're making a major financial choice. You're going to see the professional who does this day in, day out. So I don't think so. I don't think it's a recipe for success.
Because you have to put a certain amount of time and money to invest into getting your real estate license and getting there in the first place. And so I know like there's people that might buy and sell their own property and they're able to like save money, and so it becomes worth it. But yeah, I think there's some people that get their real estate license, go through that work and that money to get it, and then they don't end up ever using it, or maybe they do one house. So
And even more so than just the initial investment is staying in the know on like what's going on, like Eureka sewer lateral ordinance, planning, different zoning overlays coming, like all these things that a realtor who's doing it for their full-time profession is going to stay in the know and know exactly what's going on in their community. If you do that dabble part-time, you're not going to have all that industry knowledge. Like,
True.
Yeah.
What, well, that was an echo. What was one of the craziest, I guess, curveballs regarding laws and regulations and ordinances and stuff that like completely threw all of you guys off?
I mean, COVID threw that was a lot. That's probably the biggest like shake in the industry I saw, but that's not an ordinance, so I guess that doesn't really apply.
Like a city law that like completely like shook up, I guess, the real estate game or something.
I will go on record to say like I'm not a fan of the City of Eureka sewer lateral ordinance. It's not like it shook. It's not like it's that major, but it's major for people who live in Eureka.
And what
like
is
I
that?
okay, so now I go into every single listing appointment telling people, yes, you can sell your home for this amount. This is about your net proceeds. And oh yeah, hey, there's this ordinance where you need to pay for your sewer lateral to be replaced, and at minimum they're probably looking at $15K less in net proceeds because so there's an upper and a lower to how your sewer connects to the main, from the house to the main. And the lower used to be a jurisdiction of the city. They've now changed the law to where both are the owner's responsibility. They have to fix the upper if it's in need of repair, if it's made out of clay, if it's not ABS, if it's not going to flow, if there's going to be infiltration into the main. So we run a video to make sure it's in a good condition. And if it's not, they have to replace it. The upper is typically like, it could be okay, but I don't know, $2,000 to $5,000 for the upper. And the lower, I've seen cases where it's $30,000. Like $15,000 isn't uncommon. But the City of Eureka offers a fee in lieu of replacement option where you can pay a flat fee to them of $9,000 and not have to do the work. They just take the money and say, okay, we'll address it in the future. So right off the bat, I mean, people are looking at $14,000 less.
So this is in the city of Eureka.
Yes.
Is this in other cities in Humboldt County?
Arcata. Oh gosh, sorry, Arcata too.
But
I just deal with Eureka so much. Yeah.
totally. And is this something that's common in cities across California? Is this typical, or is this compared to other places in our in our state. What are those numbers looking like?
Yeah, so there are places where it's happened, but it's been proven that a point of sale ordinance doesn't make a big enough impact. We don't have enough sales to where this is going to heal the sewer system. I think what would be better is if we go street by street. Let's do H Street this year. Bam, fix them all right there, right then and there. Because there's a problem with the maintenance, with the system, and it's not going to be impacted by a sale here and there.
Totally.
So, and other areas have experienced it, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's where that model comes from. Is like, can we do this differently? So not off the top of my mind, I don't know the areas, but I know it's not. Sewer laterals are a common thing across the state.
Totally. And yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense, and I think it would be a good investment, from the city of Eureka, to do that, because if you're charging $10, $15, $20,000, per sale, it's gonna make it's gonna make it very hard economically for the people in Eureka to grow that area, like economically. I think it's going to have a huge downside on commercial and residential growth in those areas. So and it's interesting that we have that. I didn't know that was
Yeah,
was a
Arcata
thing.
and Eureka right now. And as people see that those cities are doing it, there's definitely a question of like, is the county just going to come out and do this? Like their infrastructure is aging too.
So do you see yourself staying in Humboldt County long term as a real estate agent? Have you dabbled with the idea of relocating, or do you see this as a long term destination for your career?
Yeah, definitely long term for me. I'm locked in.
That's awesome. I love that.
Can't dabble.
Yeah.
No dabbling. Got to stay locked in.
So say you were to move states for like tax purposes, say like Florida, right, or Texas. Are there different laws like there that you have to learn compared to
yeah.
California?
Yeah.
What's like, if you know a different state's laws to California's, what's one of them? Like what? Like
I mean, really, as I think about it, it would probably be easier. Like, my mom is a realtor in Boise, and she's seen my paperwork and my contracts. She's like, what's all that paperwork? Like, the contracts in other states are like an eighth of the size.
Really?
California has the longest contract by far, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I bet. We also
Yeah.
have the most expensive, if you want to form an LLC, it's the most expensive here. There's like a ton of things like in the business legal world
Yeah.
that's like, oh yeah, California, it's the most expensive.
Yeah. So
God
if
forbid
anything,
we want to be a business owner, right?
Yeah.
if anything, it'd probably be easier going to another state.
Totally. I want to shift gears here. I want to touch back on real estate, but I want to talk about your life before Humboldt, and then I want to segue into your life in Humboldt. You said you came here for school. Tell me about your life in Idaho before that. What was it like, and what drew you out to Humboldt County?
I'm basically my childhood. Like I moved here at 18, so I loved Idaho. Like I love going back to visit my family. Boise is a beautiful place to grow up. I feel really lucky that I had the childhood I had, and as I looked at 18, as I looked at college, I was like, hey, how can I get as far away from home as possible for the least amount of money?
Same
Yeah.
with us.
So I was in the WUI program, Western Undergraduate Exchange. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have, but
Okay.
I'm not familiar.
So it's agreement between a whole swath of Western states, which includes like Alaska, Hawaii. But basically I was looking at Washington, Oregon, and a little bit of California. But I was mainly looking at Washington and Oregon. So as I visited Southern Oregon University and we looked at the map of my parents and I looked at the map of all those schools, I was like, oh, Humboldt's not far from Southern Oregon. Like we're this far. Let's go drive down and find out. And in seeing it, I just fell in love. I was like, this is it. This is where I want to go.
You got the coast on one side and the redwoods on the other.
Yeah, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Okay. And so,
But now, in retrospect, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're okay.
I kick myself. I'm like, Boise's amazing. Why didn't I stay there? Like, but I just wanted to get away from home and have a different experience. But maybe I needed that experience to now appreciate it so much.
Totally. And
Yeah.
I have that same thought process whenever I go back home. I'm from Ventura County, which
Okay.
is in the LA area.
Yeah, my uncle lives there.
Okay, no way. In Ventura?
Yeah.
What city?
In Ventura proper.
In Ventura proper.
I could
Okay,
show you
okay.
his address. I actually just looked up his house like a month ago.
I live in
was
I grew up in like burbs. It's called Camarillo. It's like the burbs outside of Ventura
Okay.
proper. But
No, he's
now
like-
all my buddies like they got a crib in downtown Ventura, and like that's where that's where you want to be. Okay, cool. And so yeah, you're coming from Idaho. You come out to California because it's far away from home, and I think that's a big reason why a lot of people come to school here. And life is just too short to live in one place your entire life. And so, I loved living in Ventura County, experiencing LA and SoCal. But I do get to appreciate, a different life in Humboldt County. I wish I could have both lives. But you have to some degree commit to one. And you've committed to Humboldt County. After graduation, did you say, I am out of here, or did you say, I'm staying here? What was your mindset post graduation? Because it's very different for different people.
Yeah, well, it's coupled with meeting a boy. So I met the dad of my kids my last semester at school. My parents very much so wanted me to move home. Like, okay, you're graduated, you're coming back.
Same
Yeah.
here.
Really?
Yeah. It's last
You met a
semester.
great boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Met a great boy. Yeah.
So my parents were actually very angry I stayed.
Really?
And
Wow.
didn't want us to keep helping me. They helped me through college.
Yeah.
Didn't want to keep helping me. So that was a little bit of a wake up call too. But
My parents want me to come back, but they're like open-minded about me staying here for at least 5 or 10 years, because I'm like, the way we see it, it's like, it's not that far. It's a 10-hour drive, and it's about 10 hours for Boise.
12,
Maybe
yeah.
12, it's okay. It's a
Yeah.
little more.
Really, that's actually closer than I thought.
Okay.
That's like a trip to San Diego.
yeah.
It's closer than San Diego from here to. I think San Diego.
Oh,
like
yeah.
14
San
hours.
Diego's,
Yeah.
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 No,
What?
totally.
Yeah.
That's insane.
California's a big state.
Yeah.
And so in the grand scheme of things, I think my parents are like, it's not that far. Like, there are direct plane tickets, so we can just fly up, and we get to see each other like 4 or 5 times a year. But they definitely do, I think they do wish I moved back, and they still do wish and so, but naturally, it's your parents, and they're gonna want to be with you, and but so your family has opened up their mind, and they're okay with it now more than they were.
My mom still wants me close. She constantly asks. Every time I call
Yeah.
her with a hard day, she's like, "Well, maybe you should move home."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Mom, I can't
Well,
do
it'd be
that."
concerning if she didn't, because if she didn't, they'd be like, "What do you mean you don't want to be around here?"
My parents don't say like oh, you need after college you need to move back here. It was like they accept, for me, they really wanted me to, I guess, flourish in a way out on my own. But they definitely miss me. Like anytime I'm home, they're like, it's so good to see you. And I was planning on seeing them in May, and I just had a trip in Texas for a photo shoot. And I got stuck in San Francisco, and I live in San Jose, so I got to Uber home and visit them, I guess, early. So I was like, oh, great. So I guess the only good thing about this is I get to see my parents for half a day, and I get to get a haircut too. So
Yeah, you get to,
Oh, you only get haircuts down there?
yeah.
you get to appreciate a flight delay, because you're like, oh, I get to stay in I get to see my family, and so
We
that's-
almost did get trapped in Houston, which would have been a bummer.
Yeah.
So we got stuck in San Francisco, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, that's good. Living away from your parents and your family, and I think a lot of people in Humboldt County can relate to this. You almost appreciate the time that you spend with your family more, because when you do have that time with them, whether they're visiting you or you're visiting them, it's limited, and you're more grateful of having it, and so you enjoy and appreciate it a little more. Versus when I was in community college, living with my parents, they're just like, when are you gonna leave? When are you gonna go? And so it's and they weren't like that, but there was definitely that underlying tone of okay, you're still living with your parents, and I think that's kind of a normal in the States, I guess. And so being able to move away and create your own life as an adult somewhere else, it makes you appreciate that time that you do have with your parents and your family a little more.
So assuming just I guess perfect world scenario, can you run through the process of from securing a client all the way to closing? Like, what is the entire process
For a buyer or seller?
for you to help, say, me sell my house?
Seller.
Or oh,
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
the
yeah. No, let's
process
start
of
with
the-
sell. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, let's do
You're
sell.
you're
So
helping.
say-
I'm the buyer. He's the seller,
Oh,
and
God.
you're
Oh, God.
you're his client.
yeah,
and
we're in a meeting right now,
Yeah.
so let's go over this.
Okay, so you're the buyer. So you walk in, we're going to do an initial buyer consultation. I'm going to show you exactly what the timeline looks like. We're going to set your goals, and then I'm going to have you get pre-approved. And once you're pre-approved, we can start to look at homes. Once we see a home you like, we're going to make an offer. That loan process, the escrow process is a bunch more steps.
So
Am I already going
let's
too
say
fast?
let's say
Yeah.
you guys are working together. You guys find a home, and I'm the homeowner, and I'm like, I got my own agent, and they're helping me list it. What's the first point of contact? Do you reach out to my agent? Do you reach out to me? Does he, what's the first point of contact
So
typically?
the agents are always gonna contact each other. So I'm
Gotcha.
gonna agent, yeah.
So you and my agent are like now in discussions.
Yeah, more than likely, I'll have seen your house on the MLS. I'll see the agent who's listing it. I take their instructions for how am I going to reach out to set up the showing and ask them to be able to show the house. So in theory, I might never talk. If I'm representing the buyer, I would probably never talk directly to the seller.
Interesting. And will the buyer ever talk to the seller's agent?
Probably not. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So I'd only be in contact with you, and he'd only be in contact with his agent. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Your representation is to be that.
And how long is the loan to offer process? How long is that? Just
Or offer to closing the loan.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, 30 days, 45 days, it can
Okay.
give or take. Yeah. It
Okay,
could be
and then-
faster, but 30 to 45 is typical.
And then what happens after we put in an offer? What's next?
So,
Say they accept. Say he accepts it.
yeah, so that would be the 30 to 45 days.
Oh,
So,
okay.
however, as soon as you get pre-approved, could be as however much shopping time you want until you find something you want. Like that's a very big unknown. I'd say most people shop for 3 to 6 months, and then once you make the offer, your escrow period is going to be probably 30 to 45 days.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then what? Say he accepts it. What are like the next steps for like getting everything like I guess in motion for us to for me to move in?
Yeah. So the agents take care of a lot of the process. So all that nitty gritty is off of you. So we're going to be over here opening escrow, getting the documents to your loan officer, getting your inspection scheduled, getting the appraisal ordered. All of that, we keep you in the loop on what's happening, but it's not anything you have to do. So
And how long does that take?
that whole process,
Yeah.
that's probably like a 3-week process we're talking about there. So
Okay.
the day your offer is accepted, all your timelines start to tick. So the way the contract is written, you have 17 days for inspections. You're going to probably get a home inspection, a pest inspection. If there's any findings, we might try to renegotiate with Mr. Seller over that with his agent.
So if you found like mold in the wall, then
Yeah.
like okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then so that could take like how many months, say from I come up to you and I'm like, I want to buy a house to now I'm moving in.
I
So-
mean, we could make it happen in a month, but I'd
in
say
a month?
Yeah,
That's
because if you're like, this is the house, I want to do it, let's make it happen. We make the offer.
That's
it can
like
happen
perfect world
quickly.
scenario.
If it's
That
like a
would be
smooth-
as quick as
Yeah.
possible.
That's insane. So can you juggle, say, like 4 clients at once?
Oh my God. I have
Or-
way more. Yeah, no, yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever had, say, like 3 or 4 clients all like getting ready to close at the same time?
Yes, currently.
'Cause-
Right
I
now?
probably have 9 listings right now and then 4 under contract.
Right, season
That's-
just hit, right?
So it is typical that things get busier in the springtime, but I see business year round. Like it's
Okay.
rare to not close a sale in a month for me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you see pretty consistent year round.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Interesting. So that
Just
like
your systems in place. Like
Yeah.
I work with a transaction coordinator who's like my second set of eyes to make sure I don't miss anything. And then just notes after notes. I keep everything logged and keep track of everything. So I had a client who was he was very overwhelmed with how many reports and inspections and everything, and he was like, I don't get how you do this for like a dozen properties at once. I'm like, you have to be organized. Yeah.
Most people think they have a content problem. They actually have a clarity problem. In the modern economy, attention is the global currency. AAA Productions helps build repeatable content systems to scale your authority. Connect with us using the links in the description. Thank you, and back to the show.
What were some of the challenges that you had to face, starting a business versus being an employee?
I think just the stress of this is all on me, like there's no safety net, there's no clocking out. Like this is, yeah. And then with that too, the retirement planning, like even if I'm successful for X amount of years, if I don't manage this well, I'm not going to have anything when I retire. So
Totally. Yeah, there's that, and like you were saying, before you had children, it was like your baby, and
Yeah.
so you kind of have to take care of it and nurture it. And if you don't, it'll just wisp away and all that
Yeah.
work goes down the drain.
Do you have it have your savings in a high yield savings account?
I don't currently, but yeah, things are thank
Well,
you.
I'm sure you got some money in real estate, I'm guessing. Do you own a home?
I own
How
my
long
home,
how
yeah.
long have you owned a home? Tell me about your experience with home ownership, because that's
Yeah.
something that I want to do one day.
So, in retrospect, I wish I would have bought a home while I had my employment history, because you have to have, usually, like a general rule of thumb is 2 years of work experience. So that's how inexperienced I was when I started real estate. I was like, let's quit my job and get into it. And I didn't even own a home. I should have tried to buy a home then. But anyways, so 2019 rolls around, 2 years of real estate income. I'm like, I'm buying a house. That experience in itself was interesting because I would go see homes for myself. And one of the first appointments I had, the seller ended up being there and then called her agent afterward, angry at like the client didn't even show up, only the realtor was here. So the realtor calls me and is like, your client was a no-show, and starts kind of lighting into me. And I'm like, well, I'm the client. And then she was like, oh, whoa, what'd you think of the house? And like her tone totally changed. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a little uncomfy. Like, how am I going to do this?
Because they thought you were the realtor. They didn't realize that
Yeah.
you're both. And like,
Yeah.
that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Wait, so
So
you played
then-
realtor and client?
Yeah.
How was
yeah.
that? Was that fun? or-
Well, okay, so then, I mean, it's hard. Like, some realtors in our office are like, I'm not going to represent myself. Like, I'm going to get too emotional about it. I want to work with this other realtor in the office who I know will have my back and help me through this as I, like, if it's stressful and emotional. But mine went fine. Mine was good. But in learning and getting lit up a little in that area, in that scenario, I was like, okay, I need to manage this a little differently. So a realtor in my office came to our team meeting, and frequently we pitch like, oh, I have this new listing coming up. It'll be on the market soon. These are the details. Either, give me an idea of what you think of the value, or let's do an early walkthrough type of thing. So she pitched this house in McKinleyville. And I drove by, and then I said, my client's interested, because I didn't want to get reamed again, right? So I basically pretended I showed it to someone. I went and looked at it for myself. And I was like, then I even told her, I was like, my client's not interested, my fake pretend client. I'm like, but I am, and I'm ready to make an offer. And so I feel so lucky that I don't know if I would have been able to buy that home if I hadn't known about it early, which sounds sad to say. Like, it's hard to buy a home. So I just feel really lucky that I had that opportunity before it went on the market. And then in purchasing it, I was like, I don't know, is the market high? Like, is this really a good decision? And it's like, oh my gosh, 2019, like my house has appreciated so much. I am so lucky.
That's good.
Yeah, so lucky.
I
So-
know. I've seen those videos. It's like, oh, should have bought a house in 2019. Oh, should have bought one in 2020. Oh,
I
2021.
think I made one. Like
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So you bought in 2019, and you talked about, you're like, man, I wish in retrospect, do you wish that you bought earlier
Yeah.
or later? So you
Oh,
wish you
yeah.
bought earlier, because do you feel like you're saving a significant amount of money by being out of the rent game?
Oh God, yeah. No, yeah. I just wish I could have so every home you purchase, like nobody's going to go out there and buy the 600, 700, $800,000 dream home or whatever it may be. Those are like the nicer end homes in Humboldt County. So every purchase you can make is just going to be a stepping stone to get to the next purchase. So if I could have bought more of a starter home in 2017 that even would have appreciated into 2019, I could have taken the appreciation there and turned it around into an even nicer home in 2019, turned around and taken the appreciation out of that and bought a rental income or another home. Like it's just the wealth building through real estate is exponential.
Yeah.
So
They say when you're paying rent, you're just paying for someone else's equity. Now that person in reality is paying for, lots of hidden expenses, their property taxes, interest. And so if they're still, paying it back for the house,
interest is a write-off though.
yeah, interest is a write-off. And my question is, do you think that the appreciation of the value of the house outweighs the expenses that come along with owning it, and that like the amount of money that you're paying towards things that aren't the equity? Do you feel like those expenses are worth it with the appreciation of the house?
Yeah, long term, if you look at any information online, appreciation wins.
I feel like I'm bleeding on the rent game,
Oh,
and so I'm trying
sorry.
to, and like I'm.
Dude,
Well,
you're
we can get you there.
Well, I'm actually right. I'm.
That was a killer question.
I
bro.
come on. Oh, thank you. I think about this and discuss it all the time with like my family and stuff, because I'm like I'm coming up on 2 years here in June, and so that's 2 years of like good stable income, and I basically in the next 2 months I'm in the position to potentially buy my first real estate. But there's still like a lot of questions. Like I definitely would like to have a little more down payment before I do that. But like,
Maybe less than you think though. Like
that's
people always
what I've
like
heard.
20% down.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's
Yeah.
tons of programs that are 3.5%, 5%.
Have you ever had a zero down?
Yeah, VA. Yeah.
Really
So
zero
the
down?
veterans can do a 0% down.
My
loan.
dad's a veteran, and that's what he did. And he said that we could co-sign on it, and
Yeah.
then he can use his VA, and like he
Yes.
said like he would help me out with that. So then it's something I discussed with my family, because I'm like guys, like all the rent that my brother and I pay is going towards someone else's generational wealth. Like we need to like make sure that we're all like in living situations that we're building our own generational wealth. And my parents are on top of that. But I think they look back and they're like, I wish I got on that earlier. And so I kind of look back and I'm like, man, I should try to get in there earlier.
Yeah, you're still young, dude. Buying a house at 25, like that's
Still, yeah. I mean, I'm in no rush. Like my deadline is 30. When I'm 30, I have like with the amount I save, like basically I'm going to have a really solid down payment to purchase a house. And I'm going to have 7 years at that point of employment. And so, yeah, when I'm 30 is like that's my deadline. But I'm like, why wait till I'm 30?
Yeah.
And the big one is down payment, but there's other options out there that I'm looking into. So we'll possibly be in touch after this podcast.
100%.
what is the biggest down payment that you've seen a client put down on a house?
Well, some people put 50% down. Like if you have the money to do it and you don't want to borrow all that money, like if you're financially able to do that. So I've seen people even like only take out a loan for $100K, even though the house is way more than that, just to leverage a little bit of money. So yeah.
What about like a house in cash or something like that?
Yeah.
Like a wire transfer. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Dude, Cap, you remember he financed like 50%. I think he financed more. This is a commercial with a food truck, but Cap's Food Shack in Eureka. We had him on the podcast, and he like financed like more than 50% of his truck up front, and he said like he paid it off like within the year.
Yeah.
And like some people are like that, they're just like, why am I going to pay interest over 30 years? Like I'm just going to like pay this off. Literally, I'm going to live off of rice and beans until I pay this off. And like I feel like that would be my approach. I'd be like, and that's my approach with my student loans right now. Like I'm I'm gonna be out pretty quick, because like I'm like, you know what? I could ball out and eat dinner at a restaurant every night, and like, I could do that with my salary, but instead I'm gonna put it towards my student loans, eat rice and beans at home, and then like, because that gets me closer to the house. The faster I'm out of that student loan hole, the faster I'm in a position to buy a house. So like that's you have to sacrifice if you want to get the capital to get ahead.
I have another question about selling properties. What is the most expensive property you ever sold, and what is the cheapest one? For example, Hannah said she sold something for, I think around like 2 mil or something, and then the cheapest one was like 15,000 or something, like on a property that couldn't be built on. So like,
Okay.
what about you? What?
Yeah. My biggest sale is 1.9 million. Yeah. It
Nice.
was great. And then the cheapest is the mobile homes, like, yeah, 10 grand, 15 grand. I think
Those aren't
lowest-
even like the property, is it? It's just like
Yeah, exactly. It's just the mobile home, not you. Those ones are like in parks.
And what's
But-
your commission? Like $200 or something?
I mean, so usually it's a percentage, but when you get down into those low amounts, I try to do a flat fee, so I'm not taking home a painful amount of money. But the lowest commission check I've had is like,
So if I wanted to get like, what's the cheapest land and structure purchase I can
land
get?
and structure.
Yeah, in the range is McKinleyville to Eureka
With a loan.
with a loan. Yeah, I have to take out a bank loan.
Yeah.
But like, let's say it's 3 months from now, I got the income, I got my down payment, and it's like, you know, let's say I got 20 grand, $20,000
Mm-hmm.
To put down on a house.
to put down on a house. You know,
Um,
can I get like, and I could do a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, small size doesn't matter, but I want the land and the structure.
Mm-hmm.
What's the lowest I'm going to pay right now, 2026?
Probably like 300,000.
Okay.
Yeah, for a house.
So
Yeah.
I'm-
That's not.
So I'm almost
that's
at
not
10.
bad.
I want to be
Yeah.
at 10%. So I'm like almost there. I just got to work
Yeah.
a little more and I'm almost there. Okay. But 300K for like maybe
Because as soon as you get lower than that, the condition's gonna go downhill, and then you're not gonna be able to qualify for your loan.
okay. I see.
Condition of like the property.
Yeah,
So they won't give a
exactly.
loan to something like a fixer upper that you want to buy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really?
Like the bank's not going to approve like,
Yeah.
this mold infested like
It
house.
needs a new
and-
roof.
Yeah.
Foundation is messed up. Anything like that.
So you would just have to buy that in cash or find a loan somewhere else.
Yeah, or a hard money lender.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's people who do
Private.
that as like they just, buy houses, fix them up. Maybe they have their own company or their own team.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just, they're house flippers, and it's if you know what you're doing and it's lucrative stuff. You can make a lot of money.
Okay. Before we wrap up here, I want to get into a rapid fire round with
Oh,
you.
boy.
This is the signature end to this show. So
Okay.
10 statements. You could just say true, false, or skip. You got 3 seconds to answer it.
3 seconds.
And no explanations until the end. So
Oh,
so
interesting.
any of them that you want to say something, just mark it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a copy, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Or I'll mark it too.
The competitive me is like, I need to answer quick, like 3
Yeah,
seconds.
Yeah, but you can just say skip, and then we can always revisit. it.
Yeah. Okay. Real estate is a form of passive income.
False.
You can still find a decent home in Eureka for under $400K.
True.
Zillow is the biggest threat to the local realtor.
False.
Multifamily properties are safer than single family homes in a market crash.
Ugh, I hate this question, but true.
The Humboldt market is currently a buyer's market.
False. I think neutral. Sorry, comment.
You need a college degree to become a top producer.
False.
Mortgage interest rates matter more than the actual asking price.
False.
Most new agents quit within their first 2 years.
True.
Humboldt is still the most affordable coastal county in California.
False.
Oh. Curb Appeal sells a house faster than the actual price tag does.
False.
Oh, okay.
I surprised you on a couple
All right.
answers.
All right. I want to talk about 8 and 9.
Well, most new agents definitely quit within 2 years.
They can't handle the heat.
Why? Why is that?
I think there's a belief that real estate is easy. Like, even as I say these numbers out loud, I'm like, I hate to even say what I make a year or the most I've made, because
I can
that's
bleep
the
that out, by the way.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Because people think, oh, real estate, big bucks, $50,000 commission checks. People are
Sorry,
making-
that was-
No, it's okay. It's just you're not gonna make easy money. It's a full-time job, more than full-time. Like, I don't even take a vacation anymore where I'm not working a couple hours a day. So like, most people get into it thinking this is easy money. I can make my own schedule. I can take vacation whenever I want.
That's what
It's
everyone
not
thinks about
bad.
business, so ownership.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
So-
like the money you make is not what you're taking home. So
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
there's like, a lot of people will make a ton of money in their business, and then they look at their expenses and they're like, I
Yeah.
didn't make anything. And,
Totally.
and I'm like, But generally speaking, like a lot of those people in the situation can cut their expenses and do better.
Yeah.
But that's okay. So that's interesting.
Once
So
they visit with you guys.
yeah, once they visit with the SBDC, you know,
Shout out.
you get your books in order.
I was very curious. Sorry. I want to know about Humboldt is still the most affordable coastal county
Yeah, I
in
wanted to-
Del
California.
Norte.
Del Norte.
But does it have the same, I guess, like
There's no
like appeal as like Humboldt County? Like is-
much.
to some
It's just a much
people.
smaller economy. Like
Okay.
you know, I mean, they don't have a university. Like they don't have like even Humboldt County is a little bit bigger of an economy. They do, but if you're like got a job at Pelican Bay,
Yeah.
then like you can buy property out there, and I bet it's still appreciating. You know, like with the rest of California out there
Yeah.
too.
you kind of stopped a little bit on number 5. The Humboldt market is currently a buyer's market.
Well, I think it's more neutral and stable, but depending on which areas you go to, it could shift. I wouldn't say it's like black and white. It's more of a spectrum, and there's definitely a gray area of neutrality in there.
Is so on the southern Humboldt versus northern Humboldt, which you know Arcata Eureka essentially.
Yeah, we like to call it North Bay.
Yeah, North Bay. So North Bay compared to Sohum, which one's the buyer, which one's the seller?
Wait, what? Oh, so it was North Bay is going to be seller's market. Like
North Bay is the seller's
yeah,
market.
it's just more desirable.
Yeah.
Or even more of a pocket neighborhood where not a lot comes up for sale, like at Lumbar Hills, people like that.
But
or
in Sohum, it's a buyer's market. Like in Sohum, everyone's trying to get rid of their property, and
exactly, yeah.
so
It's kind
okay.
of unfortunate. Yeah.
I actually like I'm thinking like I've thought about like as a long like if I was handling like a huge cash portfolio, it would be cool like to just invest in all the real estate down there and like turn it into like a huge tourism hotspot because it is so cool down like the rivers and like you know it's like so beautiful down there. And then I like look at like the value of the housing. I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine if you just bought that out, did a bunch of Airbnbs, and then like somehow like if you'd have to get people from the Bay to go out there, but that's like a business idea I have.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And then for the final one, Curb Appeal sells a house faster than the actual price tag does.
Price speaks before anything. Like if that deal is there, if the money makes sense, anyone's gonna buy it. Who's
Okay.
thinking, yeah.
Because, for example, like when my grandparents bought the land, they picked the corner street because it had, you know, like 2 entrances. You know, you're right there on the street. Yeah. And granted, I mean, they bought it for whatever the price of eggs are right now. But what are some final thoughts to any aspiring business owners or real estate agents that could be watching this?
I would say like go where your energy flows. Not to sound too cheesy, but like don't go after something because you think it's the right thing to do. Go at something you feel passionate about, where you feel happy doing it, where you feel energized when you do it for hours on end. Because ultimately you're going to be successful in whatever you pour your energy into. So you need to be maniacal about that, right? Like you need to get after it day after day and never let that energy burn out
You got
because
to be a little sick in the head to.
yeah,
what you
that's so
want,
it's so
yeah.
funny. I always when I talk about like my career, I'm like maybe I just have a screw loose. Like I just don't give up. Like I'm relentless.
Yeah.
So whatever makes your mind do that, go for that.
Yeah. Well, Ruthie, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
today.
thank you.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
great.
awesome having you on, and maybe someday we can get you on again in the future.
Yeah, it's been really fun chatting with you guys. So thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thanks for the opportunity.